I want to introduce you now to a guest who I was looking forward to meet, an Israeli activist who just landed here from Israel. She knows a thing or two about being in a bomb shelter. She was in one on holiday there. Again, kind enough to join us, Lizzy Savetsky. Lizzy, very good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
When did you get here?
I landed about 6 a.m. and came here. I was on America's Newsroom this morning, but I'm just honored to be able to shed some light on what's happening.
Then tell us, what happened?
So I was with my family, my 3 children and my husband, and we were in Israel for 2 weeks celebrating the Jewish holiday of Sukkot.
Sure.
And on Saturday morning, which was the holiday of Simchas Torah, it was Shabbat, so we're observant, we don't use our phones. And the sirens in Jerusalem started going off, the red alert sirens, and the hotel loudspeaker told everyone to evacuate to the bomb shelter immediately. And because we didn't have access to our phones, we had no idea what was going on. We made our way to the bomb shelter. I was with 2 of my children, but couldn't find my husband and my other daughter. It was absolutely terrifying, and my children were terrified. I didn't feel like I was able to comfort them in the way that I would want to, because I just didn't know what was happening.
Are you all okay now? Did you all go together to the United States?
We all did. We all traveled back together.
Everyone's okay?
Thank God everyone's okay. You know, physically we're fine, but there's a lot of trauma. We feel like we left our hearts in Israel. You know, it was very bittersweet to leave because while we're fortunate to be safe, you know, our brothers and sisters there are struggling.
You know, I was trying to get a sense of that, Lizzy, about why Hamas would pull this off. Obviously, the timing of the holiday, as you indicated, on the very close to it, I think the day after the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War. So they seize on historic dates. It's also the anniversary of the assassination of Egyptian President Anwar Sadat. And I'm wondering, there was a leader who was making overtures and a peace agreement at the time with Israel, and that was not looked too favorably.
No.
And all of this occurs with the backdrop of maybe improving relations with Saudi Arabia. That seems just off for the time being. What do you think of all of this?
I think that there's a lot that we can speculate on. There's a lot we are finding out as we're unpacking all of this. I think it's really unfortunate. You know, I don't think anyone saw this coming. We certainly didn't, and Israel as a whole certainly didn't. It's just very sad. Most of the Israeli friends that I have that I spoke to there said that this was the worst day that they've ever experienced in their entire lives there.
And it's one thing to launch an attack, but this appears by almost all accounts to be particularly brutal and just savage.
Yeah, this is a completely different kind of attack than anything we've seen. You know, the raping of young women, the slaughtering, the hostages. You know, in the Yom Kippur War, it was a surprise attack, but people were all in the synagogue praying. They weren't out.
That was a military attack on the part of Syria and Egypt.
Yes.
This looked like guerrilla warfare.
Guerrilla warfare,
terrorism.
Exactly.
Yeah, terrorism. So you've been there, you're devout. You know, there are a lot of people thinking, well, the Jewish state will eventually be embraced with improved business with the Arab world. And I'm wondering, does it get you back to feeling, no, that's just never going to happen? There are those in this neighborhood where Israel is. You're surrounded by enemies. And this really made that quite clear again, didn't it?
It certainly did. You know, anti-Semitism is the oldest form of hate in the world. And it's continued to persecute us, cause us to suffer from generation to generation. And I think that this was just a shock to all of us. Some of the most gruesome images that I've seen since the Holocaust, and just being there and trying to stay calm, comfort my children. You know, until we were 30 minutes out on the flight, none of us could breathe a sigh of relief, because we weren't sure. That we heard that they were firing rockets over the airport while we were sitting on the runway. The airplane,
just in time now. You can't fly in and out of
Yes,
there.
We can't.
How old are your children, Lizzy?
I have a 10-year-old daughter, a 9-year-old daughter, and a 3-year-old son. We were actually there to celebrate my son's 3rd birthday. We did this ceremonial haircut. He had grown his hair.
Sure.
So we were, you know, hoping to have the most joyful experience.
Them, Lizzy?
I'm pretty open and honest with my children. I'm, you know, an Israel activist, and they know what I do. But this was a different state. Last night, we were at dinner at our hotel, and I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional even talking about this. We had ordered pizza, and my 9-year-old daughter started crying. She said, I don't feel like we should be enjoying this pizza. There are hostages that don't have any food. It's very hard to shield children from these things when you're in it, you know? We're used to dealing with this on a theoretical level, but when we're actually living through it and seeing it, it's impossible to shield them.
You have friends, you know those, probably know many who are missing right now. Hundreds we're told that could be missing, and they could be used as pawns in this war. This easily spirals out of control, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I think that anytime that we try to negotiate with terrorists, as we can look to the past, it's never turned out well. I heard you speaking earlier about Gilad Shalit, you know, the soldier who was held hostage for 5 years, and then they exchanged thousands of prisoners for his release. And this is just an unprecedented situation. And I think
that's what, by the way, Hamas is saying now. You release these people, we might release these people.
Exactly.
And back and forth we go.
And we have no way of knowing if they're alive or what their situation is. And you know, I don't know. All we can do is pray right now and really just hope for a peaceful end to this situation. I mean, I don't know.
Now, this was a well-coordinated attack. It was done in secret. You know, we had the same thing in this country as, you know, 9/11, with a lot of intelligence that just simply failed. This is Israel's version of that, I guess, and then some. But it's happened again and again where intelligence fails. It's too soon to start picking and piecing all that together. But what do you think?
I mean, I can't wrap my brain around it. Israel's supposed to be one of the most secure countries in the world. You know, they have the highest technology. I don't understand it. I mean, from what I've heard about Iran's involvement, maybe some cyber technological attack that caused this that caused the systems to go down. You know, I don't understand it. I can't possibly fathom how this could happen in Israel.
Yeah, and of all countries. Do you intend to go back?
I wish that I didn't have to leave. My heart is absolutely there, and I would go back in a second. I mean, these are my people, and I would do anything for them. I feel like I have more of a chance of helping right now from America. I'm very highly concerned about the PR war that's going to inevitably be next with.
It's already started.
Exactly. Yeah. It's already, you know, I've been on the airplane and just landing and seeing already the spin and the rallies, the anti-Israel rallies, the pro-Palestinian rallies, like anyone who can celebrate the raping of innocent women, the kidnapping of innocent children, of the elderly, is disgusting. It's absolutely sick. I don't understand how these people can call themselves humanitarians or claim that they're fighting for human rights. Israel did absolutely nothing to deserve something so gruesome. It's appalling. It's just unimaginable. And anyone who is not outraged by this needs to check their moral compass.
You're an incredible patriot, Lizzy, and it sounds like a pretty phenomenal mom. I wish you best for you and your family.
Thank you so much for having me, Neil.
We'll have more after this.